Hello, I'm Hannah, and this is Hannah's Books. I'm afraid I may disappoint a few of you today. I'm going to do a short behind-the-scenes video lifting the curtain on two different features of my channel. I'm sure a few of you are very aware of both of these, but today I'll let the rest of you in on my secrets. Although in December, or possibly after the new year, I'm hoping to make a much more elaborate video, or maybe a set of videos, on how to start and run a booktube channel, with many of the discussions specifically designed for introverts and camera-shy people. Today, I'll mostly be walking you through the physical parts of my bookish life and my headwear. First, one bit of background. Almost exactly a year ago, I officially started a new job, teaching humanities classes online, especially history, literature, and writing courses, primarily for international high school students. This job allowed me the flexibility to work from home, fairly unusual back before March, although that sounds unbelievable now, and mostly on my own schedule, a flexibility I knew might be important in order to meet some other commitments that may be upcoming in my family life. My employer provided recording equipment for me. For a variety of reasons, I am currently not teaching, but the company I was working for asked me to hold on to the equipment for the time if and when I return to the online classroom. After I set the nice camera and tripod and microphone up for filming my teaching videos, I decided I would try to use the same setup to film videos for BookTube. I thought I would practice BookTube to help me overcome some of my camera shyness and also learn how to use some of the new techie stuff. If you go back to the very early videos on this channel, I filmed them on my ancient mobile phone with its often grainy pictures and poor audio in front of my son's shelf full of books in and about Old English. But now I'm here with these gorgeous shelves behind me. Sadly, it is all a lie. The company that I was teaching for has a specific background they want behind all their teachers. They sent me a company-specific wall covering, and I tacked it up on a blank wall. I dislike it intensely, but it was part of the job, and since I may be going back sometime soon, I haven't taken it down yet. You really don't want that background behind me when I film videos for this channel, and I don't think the company would be pleased either. Instead of having to reposition all the equipment each time I wanted to film for BookTube, I decided to try something new. I installed some clips at the top of the education background so I could cover it up with a piece of cloth. I found this lightweight and very inexpensive tapestry that I thought might do the trick. If I really had my druthers and the space and the money, I would install a real version of the beautiful library. As it is, the cheap version printed on polyester fabric will have to do for now. I'm afraid it isn't nearly as effective for actual book storage. When I called for questions for my first BookTube anniversary Q&A, one of you asked me if it was a fake, and if so, how I store any real books if I have any. I do have some real books, although I want to stress that I'm a huge believer in and user of the local public library. Still, I do have enough real books to at least see me and my neighbors through the coming apocalypse if necessary. Before I take you on the tour, let me say that I named this channel Hannah's Books before I decided where to film. When I chose the sunny spot in front of one of my son's bookcases, I already felt guilty. How could I call it Hannah's Books? Did I have to rename my channel Hannah in front of Abraham's Books? And then when I put up the fake library, I considered the bookish tapestry or the fabric of words or whatever. But since I was still talking about what I read, despite what was pictured behind me, I embraced that fact that this channel is always about Hannah's Books. Some of my bookshelves are fairly well organized and some are not. I will insert a few clips of my shelves, not the academic history books or the Judaica books, or the ridiculous number of cookbooks I own, or the crazy piles of knitting books, and not the even crazier piles of knitting yarn, but I'll give you a quick peek at most of my literary-oriented books. I say my books, but these are basically my family's books, with quite a few of them belonging specifically to my son. Because of the global pandemic, our small house is in kind of a weird situation, as I know many of your homes are as well right now. What used to be my son's old bedroom is now my day room, where I read, write, and film my videos behind a closed door that keeps the sounds of other family members' Zoom meetings and work phone calls away, at least from my microphone. For his day room, my son uses my old study, a room that has always been filled with my stuff, and in which I finished my PhD dissertation and wrote 2 academic books. He sleeps in a tiny room we used to call the piano room for years that now has a pull-out couch as well as Southern literature and lots of Victorian biographies, as well as a slow cooker, an Instant Pot, and a food processor in his closet. Let me give you a very quick walkthrough of some of what lines almost all of our walls, starting with my son's collection of Folger Shakespeare editions and what books are beside his bed, and then going on from there. All right, now on to another veil I generally keep on this channel. What is beneath my head wrap? Or my top hat, as the case may be. I promise it is not Voldemort. I used to have hair down my back, which for a few years I usually kept either in a bun or under a scarf. Then I was treated for breast cancer, and the chemo made all my hair fall out. And while I occasionally went with the bald look, I was going through treatment during the winter. And for those of you who don't know, bald heads can get very cold. So I kept it undercover. My hair grew back, although I kept it pretty short. And when the pandemic kept me from going to a barber and kept all of us inside our unair conditioned house, even on the hottest days in the swamp that is DC, and I'm talking about the literal swamp here in Washington, I asked my son to give me a buzz cut. And I absolutely loved it. It's been growing out, and in fact, I'm contemplating pulling out the buzzer again sometime soon. At any rate, here is my head with no wrap. Well, thanks for joining me for this silliness today, here with some real Hannah's books. See you soon.